Good morning. I hope you're all well. And I'd like to greet you a happy Diandi Festival. Welcome to the closing activity of Iligan's online citizen assembly on strengthening small businesses. Iligan, thank you for welcoming Makati Business Club and the Konrad Adenauer Foundation to assist you with this project. We created the Digital Democracy Project for many reasons. To use technology to bring people together while others use it to tear us apart, to help governments talk with their constituents, especially under lockdown, and to help governments and constituents work together on policies that protect and create businesses and jobs. We started with turning streets into additional space for retail, restaurants, and recreation in Pasig, to making streets more tourism-friendly in Manila, to helping small businesses in Legazpi and now in Iligan. In the last 2 weeks, Iligan City has used digital democracy to talk with MSMEs, both registered and unregistered, asking them what support they need to stay alive and grow and contribute to economic recovery in this time of pandemic. Before I turn you back to Catch, allow me to thank some special attendees. Vice Mayor Vera Cruz and OIC Regional Director Abang from Region 10, we look forward to their response to the digital democracy results. Director Bien Ganapin from NEDA, Frei Sangil, the CEO of Layertech, who analyzed the results of our digital democracy online assembly. And finally, MBC members BPI, RCBC, PBCom, BDO, Philippine Veterans Bank, and Land Bank, thanks to their Iligan executives for being here. And also to MBC member Focus Global, represented by their president, Steve C., who grew up in Iligan and is still active in the city. I look forward to today's discussions and breakout sessions led by Catch and my other colleagues. I'll see you again at the end of the program. To get us started, here's Catch.
Thanks, Coco, and good morning, everyone. I'd like now to welcome Director Bien Ganapin to share a 3-minute message of support from NEDA. Director Ganapin?
Hi, good morning, everyone, guests and fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the NEDA, I would like to thank the Manila Business Club and the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung for spearheading this event. Indeed, these types of platforms provide an avenue for collaborative engagement between the government, both local and national, as well as the private sector, including our partners in development like MBC. The COVID-19 pandemic clearly disrupted most of the country's economic activities with the health protocols, varying lockdowns across regions, and which restricted movement of goods and services, and also people. And this directly affected micro, small, and medium enterprises, which already comprise 99% of our all business enterprises operating in the country. This event is a testament to the cooperation and open communication between government and our private sector partners as we move to restart the economy cautiously, but always with the end goal of steering the country towards recovery. We also witnessed the necessity as we transition towards that recent events led to the country's transition towards digitalization. Social distancing, quarantine requirements gave rise to alternative work arrangements, made stability of internet connectivity a priority among organizations to continue operations to survive. The employment of current technologies, social media, and other applications in facilitating quick information, dissemination, and consultation with stakeholders have been instrumental in continuing public service despite the limitations brought about by the pandemic. Moving forward, we hope that this project provides us an additional means to empower ourselves and be part of the change that we want. And on the part of the government, we assure the continuation of programs that will firmly establish digitalization and utilization of technologies in the country to improve service delivery that will reach more Filipinos. With your full support, we believe that our MSMEs will lead us to bounce back better in the new normal as we continue the journey towards inclusive growth. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Director. I think everybody in the room agrees that we've all had to learn new digital skills during the pandemic, including, of course, how to use Zoom. Let me now call on Frei Sangil, who heads Layertech, an Albay-based data science organization that wants to bring LGUs on board the digital age. So within 10 minutes, Frei will summarize the results of the voting for us. Frei, looking forward to hearing what the voters had to say.
Hi, wait, let me share my screen. Yes, portion. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
Can you
I think
see
we
my
see it
screen?
now. Yeah.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Here are the results of the survey and the key insights that we found. I'll just skip a couple of slides para mag-fit sa 10 minutes. So for this survey, we wanted to highlight the key concerns and points raised by the respondents in relation to the topic. So the voting data counted in this report is from September 16. That's the opening assembly until September 29, and that's about 13 days. So we have a total of 211 voters, and 153, or about 72% of the total voters were classified under specific opinion groups or distinct voting patterns. Now, ito yung voting timeline. Number of votes cast over the voting period. Okay naman siya, walang problems. But of course, nauna yung Pilipinas. US time kasi to, so don't mind the yung spike before the opening CA. Now, interesting lang kasi 'di ba, we know that people's sentiments change over time or depending on the activities that we conduct. So for this specific statement, there is sufficient policy in Iligan that supports businesses or freelancers. So for this statement, we noticed na prior to the opening assembly, there is significant disagreement na wala daw na sufficient policy. But after the opening CA, nakikita natin na may steady improvement yung sentiment or yung agreement nila dito sa statement na to. So IEC really helps. However, as for policy specifically supporting freelancers, consistent na strong yung disagreement nila on this. Now, we were able to detect 3 different opinion groups or distinct voting patterns. This is interesting kasi usually we only detect 2. So for Iligan's case, we have 3. Now, we have Group A, Group B, and Group C. So for Group A and Group C are pretty much the same in terms of metadata or yung overall description natin sa kanila, except that for Group A, for Group C, there are less DTI registered businesses. So hindi masyadong naka-register yung mga Group C. And we have a higher percentage naman of freelancers in Group A compared to Group C. Now, Group B has the least number of freelancers and home-based businesses. So we can assume na yung nasa Group B, these are the ones with physical stores or businesses that have been operating for quite some time. Now, first, points of consensus. So the voters, majority of the voters agree on the following. So regardless of opinion group, number 1, all groups felt COVID-19's negative impact on their businesses. Majority. All groups need marketing and financing support. Ito yung top na ni-raise nila to improve their businesses. All groups use internet and social media in their business operations, which is good news kasi for other LGUs, this is not the case. All groups take extra steps to be environmentally friendly in their business operations, such as practicing waste segregation. And also, all groups said that there's no sufficient policy in the LGU that supports freelancers specifically. So consistent siya dun sa timeline. Now, for the divisive statements, meaning participants are split between agreement and disagreement. So almost 50-50, roughly, ganon. So 1, we have 3 divisive statements. The first, they shifted into freelancing because of COVID-19. So almost 50-50. My business closed due to COVID. So interestingly, significant yung hindi nag-close. I have savings in my bank account and I'm seldom short of funds. So half said yes, half said no. Now, what's unique with the opinion groups? So for Group A, what's unique with Group A is, number 1, for Group A, they said they shifted to another business or turned to freelancing specifically because of COVID-19. So ito yung key difference. And Group A requires support specifically on compliance and yung registration processes. Kailangan nila ng financing but mostly yung compliance yung ni-raise nila. Tapos, interestingly, they also said that they're earning minimum wage. Now, for Group B, majority of Group B type voters are aware of business, yung mga freelance tax filing and things like that. 0%, so walang nag-shift into freelancing because of COVID. They need no help in registration. So probably because they already registered and they did not shift nor close their businesses due to the pandemic. So majority of them. So they seem to be doing relatively well. Now for Group C, they need support in upgrading equipment and tech. Although ganun din naman sa A, pero mas malaki lang yung percentage sa kanila. Group C is interesting kasi majority of them do not have bank savings. They're always short on funds. They have no clear business and succession plans. Yung mga basic, so they're not aware of yung business file and tax filing, freelance tax filing, and other procedures. And then yung business funds is not managed separately from household funds. So kasama siya sa household expenses nila. Now, ito yung rough generalization namin sa opinion groups that detected. So Group A are mostly freelancers. Group B are already established businesses. And possibly Group C are small vendors or yung mga bago, new businesses or home-based businesses. Now, area of uncertainty, ito naman, there's one statement, meaning a significant amount of votes are pass, so hindi nila alam, is I have registered my freelancing business with the DTI. So siguro it would be helpful to clarify, should we register, at kailangan ba i-register, bakit at paano? Now, statements that may be interesting to the LGU. So there's sufficient policy in terms of policy daw. Unfortunately, sabi nung mga maraming voters, majority, they disagree. But probably because hindi nila alam kasi sa opening citizen assembly na raise na may mga policies. Tapos, business-related transactions with the Iligan City Hall are fast and efficient. So, mas marami yung disagree. However, utilities in Iligan are sufficient in running a business or in doing freelancing. So, very strong agreement to this. Now, analysis of qualitative comments. So apart from the statements that you voted on, we received about 125 specific qualitative feedback or messages. And we had to get a translator actually kasi iba hindi naka-English. So the qualitative feedback can be grouped into 4 categories. First, is puro yung mga help needed from the LGU, effects of COVID-19 to their business, ease of doing business and tax amnesties, and comments on the survey itself. So regarding the requests for help, mostly assistance on marketing their local products and financing, training new business owners, and more information on the process, registration specifically, and yung mga processes. We also have requests for vaccinations and support for freelancers. Now, we also received specific comments pala and suggestions to ease the strict deadlines daw because of difficult circumstances na nahihirapan sila mag-comply. Interesting kasi may specific questions and concerns na when they register, at least when they try to register, may mga requirements na hindi nila ma-provide or they don't know how to go about it. Like for example, yung business daw nila ay sa home-based lang. So should we give a certificate of occupancy? So may mga message na nagsasabi na some of them are parang nakaka-discourage daw kapag may mga requirements na they don't know how to produce. So hindi na lang sila mag-register. Parang ganun. Now, nakakatuwa naman, we also received statements that expressed gratitude and excitement, thankful because the LGU is reaching out to them and many are looking forward sa next steps and possible training in the future daw. Now, we also identified key statement relations, so how statements are related to each other. So for example, we observed that those who claimed, yung minority na nag-claim na their businesses did not close despite the pandemic, na-trace namin na they're also doing well in terms of marketing, hindi nila kailangan. So may mga ibang support pa, pero dun talaga sa marketing yung pinaka-attribution, strongest correlation. Now, yung mga nagsabi na their business actually improved during the pandemic, we traced na these are the people who are working for large enterprises, and that they're also the ones who said na may sufficient policy sa Iligan to support them. So maybe they were able to leverage the existing policies kasi baka they're already aware. And then those who said that the business transactions in the City Hall are actually fast and efficient also said that they work for large enterprises and that there's sufficient policy in place and that they've been operating for about 4 years. So siguro they can say it because they're already familiar with the process. So medyo malaki yung correlation dun sa familiarity. Now, to sum it all up, again, we have 3 opinion groups with different concerns and different types of assistance needed. Group A, the freelancers. Group B, the established businesses. And Group C, yung mga micro, unregistered or new businesses pa. So it would be helpful if we can map them to actual actors in the city. Need support in order of priority. Number 1, ni-raise nila is marketing, how to market their local products, financing, regulatory compliance, equipment and technology, digital transformation, and business registration. But for business registration, except Group B, hindi kailangan ng Group B nito. Now, we only found 2 key concerns. Number 1, lack of policy that supports local MSMEs and freelancers. However, according to the opening assembly, there are actually a lot of policies in place. So maybe IEC or information campaign na lang. Number 2, streamlining of business-related transactions. Yung strict deadlines, requirements for registration daw medyo mahirap daw nila i-produce or hindi nila alam how, and they need more information on the specific process and hopefully daw digital. Kasi they ginagamit nila yung social media, so maybe social media, infographics, and catchy mga posts that can help. Now, quick recommendations finally. So first, identify the specific groups that represent the 3 opinion groups. Number 2, information dissemination on existing policies and existing support kung meron, if in place na siya. 3, overlay with existing business data. So if you already have existing data on the business registration, it's very helpful if we can see kung yung shift, anong specific industry yung nawala, ano yung mga new business registrations. So we did this with Legazpi City, makakatulong siya. And then, of course, as requested, run the same survey daw after IEC to check if citizen sentiment improved. So that's it. In the next few days, we will submit a complete written report to MBC. And if you have questions about the report or please do let us know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frei, for providing us with your insights on the survey results. So interesting for me that we actually were able to change some minds with the opening assembly. So ang galing na after the opening assembly, most are able to see that support that the government provides. So agree definitely on the point that we just need to really communicate and tell people that these options are available to you. Also interesting as part of MBC as well that the big businesses are aware of the policies, but not so much for the SMEs. So maybe there's also a need to specifically target the smaller people, the smaller businesses, the smaller enterprises. All right, so thanks for that, Frei. Now it's time for our breakout room session. Each room is composed of representatives from various sectors: finance, academia, MSME, freelancer, and government. The aim of the breakout room is to give you a chance to interact directly with the government. So kung gusto po kayong itanong or gusto kayong ipahatid sa government, sabihin nyo na po dun sa breakout room. Also, please do provide them with the recommendations to improve businesses or the business environment in Iligan. So we have assigned everyone into 5 breakout rooms with a moderator from MBC. So the moderator will ask you to introduce yourself and answer 3 questions. So the first question, if you were the mayor, how would you improve business in Iligan? The second question, what is the most important consideration in crafting policies to support MSMEs? And number 3, if you could change something about the survey process, what would you change? So we ask everyone to read out loud each question and discuss amongst yourselves. Please make sure that everybody in the room has a chance to share. So now it's time to enter the breakout rooms. All right, so we should all be coming back from our breakout rooms. Okay, I see everybody has now started to come in. Thanks, everybody, for sharing your thoughts today. So while we ask our moderators to summarize, let me quickly turn to our colleague Kia, who is reporting to us from Iligan City. Kia? All right, so while Kia gets that ready, we'll have a quick Zoom poll with you about the city's festival. So let's just quickly launch that that Zoom poll. But it is about the Diandi Festival. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. On our back end, could we please get the Zoom poll up together? Thank you. All right, so the Zoom poll is up. The question is, the term Diandi Festival derived its name from Diandi, which means what? Celebrate, gather, dance, or eat together. I see a lot of people are answering now, just giving more people a couple more seconds. Kaka-festival lang daw pala sa Iligan kahapon. I hope everybody had a good Diandi festival. Okay, I think we can now show the results. So the correct answer is A, celebrate. So Diandi means celebrate. Okay, so I can see that it's so interesting. Actually, some people did know that that Diandi did mean celebrate. Most people actually did, but a lot of people also thought it meant dance or eat together. Moving to the next question. If we were to attend or to go to Iligan City, which Diandi festival should we not miss? So I don't think there's a correct answer here, but just pick your favorite part of the festival. So those of us who are not from Iligan or who plan to go to Iligan can pick which one we should definitely not miss. Okay, votes are coming in. I feel like this question is very popular. A lot of people have their own favorite parts of the festival. Okay, let's look at the most popular Diandi event. All right, so the most popular seems to be Kasadya. Please let us know in the comments or in the chat box what happens in Kasadya. And then the second one is Pagkanaog. All right. Thank you everyone for answering the poll. Now I hope that the moderators from each room were able to summarize what was discussed and to share their insights. Is it all right then? I'll start with with room 1. The moderator for room 1, please unmute yourself. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Gita.
Yes. Thank you so much, Catch. In the room with me, I was quite lucky to have Vice Mayor Vera Cruz, as well as Mr. Steve C. and the founder of Adroit, Ms. Gina, as well as a member of MSU IIT. So in the room, one of the things they pointed out that there are a lot of advantages to staying in Iligan City. One of which is that there's quite a low cost of living. They don't have typhoons, if you can believe that. They never had a day off school because of a typhoon. And they also don't have a scarcity in electricity. Brownouts happen quite rarely. So this makes Iligan City, according to the members of my room, an ideal place to establish an economic zone where perhaps they can have more BPOs situated there. They also suggested that this eco zone should be a PEZA zone so that the BPOs can take advantage of the benefits of that. This was echoed by Ms. Gina in the room because she said a lot of talent from Iligan City have been moving to Cebu because they have the BPO sector there, which is not there in Iligan. So she's very much encouraged by that. Another thought that came up in the room is that a lot more support was needed to be given to small MSMEs through ICT infrastructure, online registration of business, online paying of taxes for their business, and also providing training to businesses to adapt to new technology, as well as on how to use these different tools. So that was a lot of discussion in our room, which I summarized.
Thank you. Thanks, Gita. Great points there about Iligan having the ideal environment. I would also love to have a low cost of electricity, even while I'm working in Metro Manila. I think especially now that everything is work from home, or a lot of companies are working from home, there are a lot more opportunities for people in provinces to have like a lot more mobility when it comes to where they work. Now turning to the moderator for room 2. Please do unmute yourself.
Hi, Catch. Hope you can
Hi,
hear me
Trisha.
all
Thank you
right.
so much.
Hi. So our room had a really good, diverse and well-rounded discussion. We had representatives from different sectors, and we also had Director Ganapin join the room. So I'll briefly share some key highlights that were shared by the group. So the group shared the same sentiment that there is a need to create more efficient processes in terms of business registration, licenses, permits, and payments. Especially now, given COVID restrictions and limited mobility, the group shared that it would be best to have a one-stop shop from the LGU to process all of these. And preferably, if it's possible, they'd like this to be digital so that they wouldn't have to leave their houses. But they shared the concern that IT systems in the Philippines aren't as advanced as they could be. So we have to work on that first before we move to digital platforms for these processes. In terms of policy making, they've identified that the biggest challenge really is balancing health and economy, and that's what's restricting economic recovery. So fast tracking the vaccine rollout was a suggestion shared by the group. They think it would be very beneficial, especially for MSMEs. Once vaccines are rolled out quicker, they could jump back towards economic recovery much faster. They also said that alignment of policies from the national level to the LGU level is very important because there seems to be a lack of consistency. So they get a little bit confused in terms of regulations and policies they have to follow. And because each industry requires different needs or has different needs, they appreciate it if the policymaking process is very consultative. So consulting with these MSMEs, what their needs are, and making the policies more tailored to meet those needs. So that's all that was shared by the group. And again, they really appreciate the Polis survey. They think it's one step closer to that consultative process that I shared earlier, and they hope that more surveys would be rolled out in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Trisha. I think great points there. A lot about balancing the health and economy and also fast tracking the vaccine rollout. I think that's something MBC also supports. We released the COVID-19 discussion paper emphasizing exactly that. Turning now very quickly to our MBC member, Mr. Steve C. I think you also shared an additional big advantage of Iligan. Could we ask you to share that with the group? Hi, Mr. C. Yes.
Hi, hello. I mentioned this in the discussion of our group also. I said Iligan has another big advantage. That is the presence of MSU IIT in Iligan. That means we have lots of talents. Okay, it's a UP, like University of the Philippines in Iligan, really. And I didn't realize that only until about some 10 years ago, because I thought MSU is there. So, okay, it never occurred to me that that is a big advantage. It was the former NEDA head, Don Padiranga, who mentioned this to me. He's a fellow alumni from Stanford. That's how I got to know him, and we became good friends. And he said, Steve, he knows I'm from Iligan. He said, Steve, you know what? Iligan has one big advantage, that is the location of MSU IIT in Iligan. So you have lots of talents. Iligan should have BPO set up in Iligan. There should be PEZA zone, IT PESA zone in Iligan. I said, oh yeah, that is right. Only then did I realize that. I said, oh yeah, that's true, very true. And that time, like maybe more than 10 years ago, I was already talking to I brought this idea up with the mayor of Iligan at that time. And I said, you know, this came from Don Paderanga. And I absolutely agree with him. Iligan, you should set up to get to encourage the IT to come to the BPOs to come to Iligan. And yeah, that's the best I can do is just, because I'm not based in Iligan and I'm not in government. So I said that is one big advantage. Cagayan de Oro doesn't have an MSU IIT. I have to say that. Okay, so we have an MSU IIT, which produces a lot of very good talents, great talents, because it's free education for people who apply who can qualify. It's free education. So yeah, you don't have to pay anything, I think, if ever minimal. So you have a lot of very good talents coming out from Iligan, from MSU IIT.
Thank you, Mr. C. I think if a Stanford alumni thinks that MSU is a great advantage, then the quality of human resources must be really high.
Yeah.
Must be very interesting. We have a comment actually here. Sorry, I'm derailing the breakout room discussion, but I think this is a good point to jump off from Mr. Steve C. So I'd like to ask either Mr. Jorich Cuevas or Mr. Safa Manala to respond. So Jorich was actually talking also about moving call centers or asking BPOs to come to Iligan. Jorich, are you from the BPO sector?
Actually, we start as a startup company way about 3 years before, and we just started our We just started our BPO or KPO call center industry this year, last June. But I also have a ESL company last April 2020. So for the ESL company, we were able to generate almost 70 jobs for the whole year. We're already in our 1 year in our ESL company. We cater Native Cup, Akadsok, and I forgot the other one. There's a new one that's working. I forgot the other one. There's one coming. And for the BPO company, although we started 3 months ago, we're able to generate at least 60 call center agents. So we have a lot of talents in Iligan City. That's true. And since we were been in the industry for more than 8 years and keep on asking BPO companies to come to Iligan, but they are not that interested. So some of us who are freelancers before decided to create our own. In fact, when we created an inventory 2 years ago, we were surprised that there are more than 25 small BPO companies in Iligan cities.
Fantastic.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mr. Jorich. Also, it was Attorney Jorich. Apologies for missing that title. Turning very quickly now to Professor Safa Manala. Hi, Professor Safa. So Professor Safa is from MSU IIT. So I think she'll have a lot to say. Hi, Ms. Safa.
Hi, yes. Actually, I wasn't in the room with Mr. Steve C. However, I was in room number 5, but then I highly agree with what Mr. Steve C has mentioned, that traditionally MSU IIT has, although it's not to say na we have been outsourcing, or we have been sending all of our talents to nearby cities. Some of them remain naman in Iligan City, but majority of them don't remain in the city anymore. So they find jobs elsewhere. And I think that it's about time that the LGU starts to think of ways, just like what was suggested, to perhaps look into setting up special economic zones or to plan out for industry so that we can capitalize on the existing talent. That, of course, alongside with helping the MSMEs. So in MSU IIT, we have the IDEA Center, which acts as a hub for startups. I think this could be something that the LGU can, work in partnership with to help startups and, move them from one stage of development to the other, and possibly act as a place for, all these future graduates to work in. if I'm not mistaken, I think the manager and the faculty coordinator of the IDEA Center are also here. We have Mr. CJ Brasileño, no? Who is the manager of IDEA and also the faculty coordinator, Associate Professor Stephen Fajardo. So I think if you're interested in partnering with them, you can reach out to them for more information, or you can actually call them right now if you'd like to get immediate insights from them.
Thanks, Professor Manala. We would love to hear from Mr. CJ, but apologies to the moderators for derailing the discussion very quickly. I thought we had like a good discussion going on. But now, very quickly turning back to the moderators, and then we'll turn back to Mr. CJ and the Q&A. Now calling Zion Yuson, who's the moderator of Room 3. Maybe we can get some more insights from all of the rooms so we can pick up on that discussion. Zion?
All right. So good morning, everyone. I think we had a good discussion a while ago, and our breakout room kind of shares the same sentiments as the previous breakout room, that we all agreed that most of the MSMEs are reluctant to register their businesses because they do not know how to register their businesses. So the suggestion that our breakout room came up with is to have more conferences, seminars, similar to this one, facilitated by the LGU, so that the LGU can act as a consultant to the MSMEs. They can disseminate important information on what to do during the pandemic, and also they can work with the Iligan Chamber of Commerce, as mentioned by Ms. Teves a while ago from MSU. Ayun. So yeah, that's in terms of what they can do, what the LGU can do to assist the MSMEs. In terms of the policy making, I think the main consideration that was brought up a while ago is that more information that is relevant to the MSMEs should be considered when drafting these policies. And this can be achieved by being more participative and being more consultative in drafting the policies. So this by doing this, they should be able to tap other parties such as the banks, the DTI, and also the other stakeholders involved. And this information, this relevant information that should be considered when making these policies, can also be extracted from the survey. So the survey was really good based on the comments from the people in my breakout room. But one comment was it should be more stretched, like the period should be more stretched to avoid having like skewed results or biased results. So if it was a more stretched period, maybe we could have gotten more relevant information, relevant data that can be useful for the policy making. And yeah, I think that's it from our breakout room. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Zion. Great points there, especially about having a more consultative process. Definitely will take that into account, that we should lengthen the voting period. Now turning to room 5 first. Bern, could I ask you to summarize the results of room 5?
Thank you so much, Katch. Good morning to everyone. As with other breakout rooms, you also had an insightful discussion. So very diverse. We've had people from the DTI, the NEDA, and people from the academe and also from the bank. So I think for question number 1, I share the same sentiments with all other groups, but I think I want to stress out one answer from the group, which is there should be an importance in disseminating of policies and making citizens aware of these policies. So as we all know that the law is not self-executory, so there is really a need for LGUs to disseminate whenever they craft policies. And again, there should be an ease in doing business, specifically in business license processing, as this is a recognized bottleneck of MSMEs. So if there could be an option to exempt MSMEs for the longer processes of business registration, for example, those businesses with income or revenue of less than 100,000 to be exempted, then that would be great. Another great insight is there should be a digitization of processes. specifically now in the COVID-19 pandemic, but there should also be a needs-based approach, cluster and simplify the processes, and ensure that no one would get left behind when we digitize these processes. And lastly, for the police survey, I think this is a new feedback, because from the other LGUs, most of the feedback we got is the survey is too long. But for Iligan City, their feedback is if we could make the interface more user-friendly, make the statements or questions pop out more, and if we could reduce the languages into one, so it would not be confusing to the responders. So basically, that's it. Thank you so much, Catch.
Thank you, Bern. So now that we have those great insights from the breakout rooms, now kind of turning to Vice Mayor Gemar Vera Cruz. Vice Mayor, maybe you would have some feedback or some suggestions coming from the breakout room. Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor, unmuting you now. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
First and foremost, it is a pleasure for me to be part of this consultation and the survey that MBC have done together with the local government, and all the data that has been presented, especially the result of the survey, is very enlightening to me. And all the discussions today, the insights that are given coming from people in the business sector as well as people from the academe, for me, it's very important. And I would bring it home to me, especially right now that I am sitting as the presider of legislation in Iligan City. Now, I would suggest to our people, especially participating now, people from Iligan, to continue to make your suggestion and recommendations to make our policy making better for our people, especially in improving the businesses in Iligan City, as well as the ultimate goal of making the economy of our city better. No, it has been our dream to make the lives of our people better, and this can only be done if we work together as one. No, we in the local government are trying our best, whatever we can do to create the climate for people to be attracted to do business in Iligan City. But I hope our investors and our businesses here in Iligan City will appreciate that. No, so I will continue to listen, and I will continue to see what this Sangguniang Panglungsod can help, especially our people and people doing business here in Iligan City. So thank you very much, Katz, for this opportunity that you have invited Iligan City to participate in this kind of endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Really great points earlier from Mr. Steve C. and also from professors of MSU IIT about the really the rich human resource pool in Iligan. Maybe what we could do, just offhand, is to set up something with the government, set up connections between the academe and the government, and also the private sector to help out Iligan. Now quickly turning to our question box, we have here a comment actually from Director Ganapin. Director Ganapin, you're talking about a specific program, Control at Biz. Could you let us know more about that?
Yeah, actually, I heard about this DTI. It's actually a DTI program, Control Biz. But I'm not really familiar with the details. I think Ma'am Luz here from DTI Iligan can provide
yes,
additional information. Thank you.
Yes, sir. This control bees, control bees. These are actually series of webinars to assist the micro, small, and medium enterprises, organized by the what they call the department. I mean the Bureau of Commerce in DTI. And we are in Lanao del Norte and Iligan City. We are disseminating this also to the local entrepreneurs, and we have our very own also weekly webinars to assist also the local entrepreneurs. We are like, for example, the business continuity plan, the costing and pricing, and yes, and the financing forum. So for the local entrepreneurs.
Yes, that's quite interesting po, no? Since I think that's great, since some of the results na lumabas from the survey was that we would really need some more marketing and financing help. So maybe if you could link us to that, Miss Luz,
Yes,
we
sure.
could also disseminate it to the registrants. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So while we have you here, Mr. C, would you have anything that you wanted to ask to the mayor or to the other government officials that are already in the room? Ay, so sorry. Sorry, I think I interrupted the phone call. Sorry about that.
No problem. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Makati Business Club for me to join this this discussion. Really, I think Iligan has a lot of advantages. Really, okay. Years ago in the 1960s, late 60s up to early 70s, Iligan was the destination of businesses, industries. If you look around, we have 3 cement plants in Iligan. We have a flour mill there and 2 or 3 coconut oil mills. They're all situated in Iligan. Iligan was the place to be during that time. Okay, but well, just sadly, because of the perception later on of Iligan being not for secure, it's not safe. So that's kind of made Iligan kind of lost its attractiveness, and and the airport is one big disadvantage for Iligan also. We don't have an airport like within 5 kilometers from the city center. We have to go to the Laguindingan right now, which is about 40-some kilometers away. And so Cagayan de Oro has a big advantage because it's only about it's not maybe more than 10 kilometers from the center of Cagayan de Oro. So that's why. Okay, that's why Cagayan is more accessible from people coming from Manila and from the rest of the country. So, but again, like I mentioned, let's take advantage of having MSU IIT in Iligan. Let's take advantage of that. Cagayan de Oro doesn't have that. We have that, okay? And we have lots of talents in Iligan. And cost of living is lower, prices of everything, rental, land is much lower. And we have the support of the city government to push on this. I don't see why we cannot succeed in Iligan. So I grew up in Iligan, so I'm all for Iligan to get even better and to grow. Okay, that's the message I have for our Vice Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. C. I see now that the Vice Mayor has raised his hand. Sir, please go ahead.
I just would like to interact with Mr. Steven C. The perception of the peace and order in Iligan for the past 10 years, has changed a lot, And in fact, I would say this candidly that Iligan City now is one of the safest places in Mindanao, and we're trying hard to maintain this, So this is an opportunity perhaps to tell the people who are joining us here, that the peace and order in Iligan is better than any other cities in even part of the whole country. With everything that is being done by the Duterte administration, drugs has lowered, the criminality has reduced very significantly, and the rebellion in this part of the country is now a history. Iligan City is one of the best place to go, no? And we have a lot of economic advantage, as being said over and over again by Mr. Steve. We have MSU IIT, we have a lot of potentials here. We have a lot of talents, and there's no need for people who would like to invest here, especially on call centers or BPOs, and to look for professionals to go to other cities. No, we have a lot here. No, so another advantage that I would like to see to tell the people is we have a lot of water here, and our electricity is uninterrupted. So, and there are also a lot of areas that you can visit for tourism. No, so I would say Iligan City is one of the destination again to look forward for investments.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think just really excellent points and good energy and synergy now coming from the private sector, with the commitment of the Vice Mayor and also the involvement of our academia. Right. So I wanted to turn now to some of the questions here from Mr. Jorich. Sorry, Attorney Jorich. He has a question for the Vice Mayor. Sir, could we ask you to ask that question live? This has something to do now with, I think, the vaccination. So moving away a little bit from the future of Iligan or future synergies now towards the now of like what we can do in terms of vaccination. Sir?
Yes, yes. We're trying hard with inviting our people to go vaccination. In fact, we do it on social media as with announcing radio. In fact, Attorney, there is now our vaccination area in LaSalle is open for walk-ins. No, in case you do not know, it is open for walk-in vaccination and for general public. No, so our CHO is trying its best to get the supplies from the national government. And the national government has been very good to us. They are sending us enough vaccines. No, the only thing is some people are just hesitant because these are the, I think, hangover of the lot of congressional hearings on vaccination before. No, so maintindihan natin yan. No, but the CHO actually is campaigning for vaccine, and this is also my exhortation to people in the private sector, no, to help campaign for vaccination for our people. So we're trying to do our best. Our city health officer is always on air asking people to go for vaccination. In fact, today, September 30, even though it's a holiday for us, I believe that LaSalle Academy is open for vaccination.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Sir Jorich, would you have a follow-up to the Vice Mayor, or are we all good?
Yeah, no worries. The LGU is really very very serious in the campaign for the vaccination. We're only requesting for a specific day because our agents are all night shift and they don't have the all the weekdays for them to go to the vaccination area. But yeah, we were very happy that the Vice Mayor is very supportive, not only to the vaccination but also to the IT BPO industry for the past 8 years. Yeah, he's been supporting us. That's all, Vice Mayor. That's only for a specific day or Saturday. So thank you for that. We can just go there for the Saturday morning.
Thank you, Sir Jorich. Thank you. Asking one more question now to the Vice Mayor. Since this came up a lot earlier po, parang one of the issues that came up earlier was a lot about the ease of doing business, especially now that everybody's online and now that it's more difficult to go to the city hall. So one question we had sent in was, is the government considering adoption of online business registration, especially since it is the pandemic? Sir?
Absolutely, Catch. Absolutely, we are considering that. And in fact, the executive department of the city has allotted money for the computerization, no? And I believe our technical people are working hard on it, no? the implementation of the computerization, especially on online registration, there are some people in the city hall who are resistant to the change, no? But that is why though we want to change the technology, we have to improve the technology, we have also to change the attitude and the hearts of people in the city hall. But absolutely, we're considering that, and in fact, that is one of our agenda in the next year, no? And hopefully that will be part and parcel of our executive legislative agenda in the next coming year.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Looking forward to having that up. I know, especially like a lot of freelancers had made that known to us. They were really telling us that please if you could make it online, and if you could give them the processes that they have to do, that would be very interesting. Okay.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Now we have one more question now, also related to moving online. So everything is online now, especially because of the pandemic. So this person wanted to ask what the government is doing to improve the internet connection in Iligan. So I guess, Vice Mayor, since you're there right now, what do you think the internet connection is? Is it good? And what can we do to help that?
Yeah, that is really the problem that we have here in the city of Iligan. In fact, we have called the several providers, the PLDT, the Globe, and the new players, the Dito, to our Sangguniang Panglungsod, asking them to explain to us why the poor service of the internet, no? So this is what we're trying to do. In fact, our committee on economic enterprises is trying to make legislation so that we can, through a policy, we can help our people, especially on the consumers. The consumers, they have been complaining to us, complaining on air, complaining through the social media, why the service providers not doing anything about it. Ang rason na sinabi ng mga providers is that they're doing something to replace all their old cables, and they are going to fiber optics, no? And hopefully they can really do better than what they have been providing us with their service. They have committed to the local government, and we have asked them to do better in their service. Otherwise, we will do something about about their business here.
That's great. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. I know everybody in the chat is looking forward to a much better internet connection. Now, thank you very much for that great interaction. Thank you to everybody that asked the question as well. Now, in a true Filipino style, we'd like to request a photo op with everybody. So if the participants are comfortable, please open your video now. So I will count 2 times. I'll give you like a couple of seconds now to turn on your video. Okay, so I'll count 2 times. And 1, 2, 3, smile. And 1, 2, 3, smile. One more, just for those that turned on their video late. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you. Just a reminder to everyone, if you have not yet gotten a chance to, please do answer the Polis survey through the link that we will flash on the screen and will send in the chat box. So your input will provide a better understanding for the government on how they can improve business in Iligan. So now I would like now to call on MBC Executive Director Coco Alquas to close today's program. Coco?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Catch. Thank you, Director Ganapin, Director Abang, Vice Mayor Vera Cruz, and Frei for participating in Iligan Citizen Assembly closing event. Special thanks to the banks and the other companies that joined us today. And of course, our member, Focus Global, represented by Steve C. Steve, thank you very much for participating today very actively. I think everyone in the room is invigorated by their participation in this democratic process. Thank you to everybody who participated in the activity. I hope we all gained valuable insights on improving business in Iligan. To help us improve, may I ask the audience to provide feedback on the event. Once again, you may scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link that my colleagues are putting in the chat box. With that, let me wish you a happy fiesta to celebrate the Diandi Festival. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe and have a good Thursday. Everybody, thank you very much for doing this today. Vice Mayor, Steve, Director, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. C.
Thank you.
Salamat, Mayor. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have to
Okay,
hunt
thank
down
you.
that